Seven Little Johnstons is drawing major attention, and this time, it centers around a deeply personal and sensitive topic. Amber Johnston is speaking out to defend her daughter, Liz Johnston, following discussions about Liz's desire to have a baby who is also a little person. The conversation, which has sparked strong reactions online, has now taken another turn as a strange daughter, Anna Johnston, adds her voice to the situation. This story is not just about family. It's about identity, perspective, and the complexities of personal choice. At the center of it all is Liz. As viewers already know, Liz has been navigating major life changes, including her relationship with Bryce and plans for the future. Now, the conversation has shifted toward motherhood, and more specifically, the kind of life she envisions for her future child. According to the discussion highlighted in recent coverage, Liz has expressed a desire to have a child who shares her experience as a little person. For Liz, this isn't just a preference. It's something tied to identity, understanding, and lived experience. And that's where Amber steps in. Amber Johnston has publicly defended Liz's perspective, making it clear that she supports her daughter's thoughts and feelings on the matter. From her point of view, this isn't about limiting possibilities. It's about embracing identity and the unique experiences that come with it. Amber's stance suggests that raising a child who is also a little person could allow for a deeper level of connection and understanding within the family. It reflects a belief that shared experiences can strengthen bonds and create a sense of belonging. But as expected, not everyone sees it the same way. The topic itself is complex and emotional, and it quickly sparked debate among viewers and fans. Some people support Liz's perspective, viewing it as a personal and valid choice. Others question the idea, raising concerns and ethical considerations. And then comes another layer. Anna Johnston. Anna, who has had a complicated and at times distant relationship with the family, has now entered the conversation. Her response adds a new dimension to the situation, especially given her current standing within the family dynamic. While the full details of her comments are still unfolding, it's clear that Anna's involvement brings attention back to the ongoing tensions within the Johnston family. This isn't just a discussion about one decision. It's becoming a broader conversation about family relationships, cut-off in perspectives, and how personal beliefs can sometimes create divides, even among those closest to each other. What makes this story especially compelling is how it blends deeply personal choices with public attention. The Johnston family has always been open about their lives, but moments like this show just how complex those lives can be behind the scenes. As the discussion continues to gain traction, one question stands out. Is this simply a difference in opinion within a family? Or could it deepen existing tensions that are already present? And perhaps more importantly, how will Liz respond as the conversation grows louder? The story is still developing. As the conversation continues to unfold around Seven Little Johnstons, more attention is shifting toward the emotional and ethical layers behind Liz Johnston's statement, and the reactions it has triggered both inside and outside the family. At the core of this discussion is a deeply personal question. What does it mean to choose a certain kind of life for your future child? For Liz, the idea of having a child who is also a little person appears to come from a place of familiarity and identity. Growing up as a little person herself, Liz has firsthand experience navigating both the challenges and strengths that come with it. From her perspective, raising a child with similar experiences could mean being better prepared as a parent, understanding medical needs, social challenges, and emotional realities in a way that others might not. Amber Johnston continues to reinforce that point. She emphasizes that Liz's thoughts should not be misunderstood as limiting, but rather as embracing a life she knows deeply. Amber's defense suggests that Liz's intention is rooted in connection, not restriction. However, this perspective has opened the door to broader public debate. Some critics argue that actively hoping for a specific physical condition raises complex ethical concerns. They question whether it's right to wish for a child to inherit challenges that can come with being a little person, including health risks and social difficulties. Others, however, strongly disagree with that criticism. Supporters of Liz argue that being a little person is not simply a limitation. It's an identity, a community, and a lived experience that can be full and meaningful. From that viewpoint, Liz's desire is seen as valid and deeply personal. And then there's Anna Johnston's response, which adds even more complexity. Given her strained relationship with the family, Anna's voice carries a different kind of weight. She's not just commenting as a sister, she is speaking from a position that has already been marked by KHTLF and emotional distance. Anna's remarks suggest that she may not fully agree with how the situation is being approached. While she doesn't completely dismiss Liz's feelings, there are hints of concern in her tone, possibly about how such a decision is being framed or discussed publicly. Her involvement brings unresolved family dynamics back into focus. Because this isn't happening in isolation. The Johnston family has already been navigating tensions, particularly involving Anna's relationship with her parents. Now, with her stepping into this conversation, it raises the possibility that those tensions could resurface, or even intensify. What's particularly striking is how this situation highlights different perspectives within the same family. On one side, Amber is firmly supportive of Liz. On another, Anna appears more cautious, possibly questioning the implications. And in the middle of it all is Liz, whose personal thoughts have now become part of a much larger public conversation. As reactions continue to spread online, the debate is becoming more than just about one family. It's turning into a wider discussion about choice, identity, and the boundaries between personal decisions and public opinion. And with each new comment, each new reaction, the situation becomes more layered. So now the question shifts again. Will this discussion remain a respectful exchange of perspectives? Or could it evolve into something more divisive within the family? And how will Liz navigate the growing attention surrounding her words? As the story continues to develop, the focus now turns to what this means for the future of the family featured in 7 Little Johnstons, and how each member moves forward from here. At the center of everything is Liz Johnston. Despite the growing public debate and differing opinions within her own family, Liz has not backed away from expressing her thoughts. Her stance reflects a broader theme that has been consistent throughout her journey, wanting to define her life on her own terms. But with that independence comes pressure. Her words have now reached a wide audience, and with that comes interpretation, criticism, and support from all directions. Every statement is being analyzed, and every reaction is being amplified. Amber Johnston, meanwhile, remains firmly in her daughter's corner. Her defense of Liz signals not just agreement, but a willingness to stand by her publicly, even as the topic continues to spark debate. Amber's position reinforces the idea that, within the immediate parent-child relationship, there is unity. But that unity doesn't fully extend across the entire family. Anna Johnston's involvement continues to cast a shadow over the situation. Her response, while not entirely confrontational, suggests a level of discomfort that cannot be ignored. Given the already strained relationship between Anna and her parents, this moment risks becoming more than just a difference in opinion. It could become another layer in an already complicated dynamic. And that's where the emotional weight of this story truly lies. Because beyond the headlines and the public discussion, this is still a family navigating sensitive topics in real time. There are no easy answers here. No clear right or wrong. Only perspectives shaped by personal experiences, beliefs, and emotions. As viewers and fans continue to follow the story, many are beginning to shift their focus away from the debate itself and toward the relationships involved. Can the Johnston family have these difficult conversations without causing deeper divisions? Will Anna and her family find common ground? Or will this situation widen the gap that already exists? And perhaps most importantly, how will Liz move forward, knowing that her personal thoughts have sparked such a widespread reaction? There's also a broader takeaway emerging from this moment. It highlights how reality television, while entertaining, often brings very real and very complex issues into the public eye. The lives of the Johnston family are not scripted in the traditional sense. They reflect real decisions, real KHTLUF, and real consequences. And that's why moments like this resonate so strongly. Because they go beyond entertainment. They become conversations. They become reflections of larger questions that many people face in their own lives, about identity, family, and the choices that shape the future. As of now, there is no final resolution. No clear conclusion. only an ongoing story that continues to evolve with each new perspective. And as it unfolds, one thing remains certain. The Johnston family's journey is entering one of its most complex and emotionally charged chapters yet. What happens next will not only shape their relationships. A new controversy surrounding 7 Little Johnstons is quickly gaining attention, and this time it centers on a serious and emotional claim made by Anna Johnston against her mother, Amber Johnston. In recent discussions that have begun circulating online, Anna has openly called out Amber, accusing her of constantly competing with her. But that's not all. Anna also makes a much more serious allegation, suggesting that elderly pets in the household were removed in a way she strongly disagrees with. These claims have immediately sparked strong reactions among fans, raising questions about what is really happening behind the scenes in the Johnston family. From the start, Anna's tone appears direct and unfiltered. She doesn't frame her words lightly. Instead, she speaks with a level of frustration that suggests these feelings have been building over time. According to Anna, the issue of competition between her and Amber is not new. It's something she believes has existed for years. This idea of competition is particularly striking, because traditionally, the relationship between a parent and child is expected to be supportive, not competitive. Anna's claim challenges that expectation, suggesting a dynamic that may be more complex than viewers have previously seen on screen. She implies that there were moments where she felt compared, measured, or even overshadowed, rather than encouraged. While she does not list every example in detail, the way she describes it paints a picture of ongoing tension, rather than isolated incidents. And then comes the second allegation. Anna brings up the issue of elderly pets. She suggests that decisions were made regarding older animals in the household that she did not agree with. Though the full details are not completely revealed, her wording indicates that she felt those pets were gotten rid of in a way she found upsetting or inappropriate. This part of the claim adds a new layer of seriousness to the situation. Because it's not just about personal conflict, it touches on emotional and ethical concerns that many viewers may find sensitive. At this stage, it's important to note Amber Johnston has not fully responded to these specific claims within the same context. That means much of the story is currently being shaped by Anna's perspective, with fans waiting to hear the other side. And as expected, reactions have been immediate. Some viewers are expressing support for Anna, saying it takes courage to speak out about family issues, especially in such a public way. Others are more cautious, pointing out that there may be more to the story that hasn't been shared yet. This divide in audience reaction mirrors the complexity of the situation itself. Because what we are seeing is not just a disagreement. It's a deeply personal conflict playing out in front of a public audience. And given the already strained relationship between Anna and her parents, these new claims could have a significant impact on the family dynamic moving forward. As the story continues to unfold, one key question stands out. Is this the result of long-standing, unresolved tension finally coming to the surface? Or is there something more happening behind the scenes that viewers have yet to understand? The answers are still unclear. As the situation continues to unfold around 7 Little Johnstons, the conversation is shifting from shock to deeper analysis. And the emotional layers behind Anna Johnston's claims are becoming more visible. At the center of Anna's statement is the idea of long-term tension. Her accusation that Amber Johnston has been competing with her is not being presented as a single moment of conflict, but rather as a pattern that she believes has existed over time. That distinction is important because it suggests a relationship dynamic that may have been strained long before it became public. Anna's perspective hints at feelings of being compared or challenged instead of supported. She suggests that instead of a traditional parent-child dynamic, there were moments where she felt she had to prove herself, almost as if she were being measured against expectations that kept shifting. This perception, whether shared by others or not, appears to have had a lasting emotional impact on her. And when those kinds of feelings build over time, they can reshape how every interaction is interpreted. What might seem like a small disagreement on the surface can carry much deeper meaning when viewed through that lens. Then there's the second part of her claim, the issue involving elderly pets. This aspect has drawn particularly strong reactions, not just from fans of the show, but from a wider audience as well. Anna's wording suggests that decisions were made about older animals in the household that she felt were handled in a way she couldn't support. While she has not provided full details or context, the implication alone has been enough to spark concern and debate. Because for many people, pets are considered family, and any suggestion of them being gotten rid of, especially at an older age, is bound to trigger emotional responses. However, this is also where the lack of complete information becomes critical. Without a full explanation from Amber Johnston or other members of the family, it's difficult to fully understand what actually happened. There could be factors that haven't been shared, health issues, practical considerations, or circumstances that are not visible from the outside. And that uncertainty is shaping how people react. Some viewers are taking Anna's side, believing that her emotional response points to something serious. Others are urging caution, emphasizing that a single perspective doesn't always tell the full story. Meanwhile, the broader family dynamic is once again coming into focus. Anna's relationship with her parents has already been described as strained, and this latest development risks adding even more distance. When public statements like this are made, especially involving sensitive topics, it can make private resolution much more difficult. Because now, it's no longer just a family matter. It's a public conversation. And public conversations come with pressure. Pressure to respond. Pressure to defend. Pressure to explain. As of now, Amber Johnston has not fully addressed these specific allegations in a detailed or direct way within this context. That silence or delay can be interpreted in different ways. Some may see it as avoiding the issue. Others may view it as taking time before responding carefully. Either way, it leaves a gap in the story. And that gap is where speculation grows. As discussions continue across social media and fan communities, one thing is becoming clear. This situation is no longer just about what was said. It's about what it represents. A breakdown in communication, a difference in perspective, and possibly a deeper emotional divide within the Johnston family. So now the question becomes, will there be a response that brings clarity to these claims? Or will the silence allow the tension to grow even further? As this situation continues to unfold, the focus now turns to what happens next for the family at the center of 7 Little Johnstons, and whether this public conflict can move toward any kind of resolution. At this point, Anna Johnston has made her stance clear. Her words reflect frustration, unresolved feelings, and a willingness to speak openly, even when the topic is deeply personal. But with that openness comes consequences, especially when those statements involve serious accusations and are shared in a public space. Because once something like this is said publicly, it becomes much harder to take back. And it often requires a response. Amber Johnston now finds herself in a difficult position. Responding directly could bring clarity, but it could also escalate the situation. Remaining silent, on the other hand, may avoid immediate conflict, but it leaves room for speculation to grow. It's a delicate balance, and whichever path she chooses will likely shape how this situation evolves. At the same time, the rest of the family is also affected. Even if they are not directly involved in the claims, they are still part of the same environment. Public KHTLF within a family can create ripple effects, impacting communication, trust, and future interactions. And for a family that has shared so much of their lives on television, those ripple effects are not just private. They're visible. That visibility is what makes the situation especially complex. Because while many families experience conflict behind closed doors, the Johnstons are navigating it in front of an audience. Every statement, every reaction, and even every silence is being observed, interpreted, and discussed. This creates pressure, not just to resolve the issue, but to do so in a way that aligns with public expectations. But real family conflicts don't always follow a clear timeline. There's no guarantee of a quick resolution. In fact, situations like this often take time. Time for emotions to settle, for conversations to happen, and for perspectives to be understood. And that brings the focus back to Anna and Amber. At the heart of the story is a relationship that appears to be strained, but not necessarily beyond repair. While the current moment is filled with tension, it also opens the door for reflection. because sometimes conflict can reveal underlying issues that were never fully addressed. The question is, will that lead to healing or further distance? Fans of Seven Little Johnstons are already reacting in large numbers. Some are calling for open dialogue between Anna and Amber, hoping to see a moment of understanding. Others are taking sides, which can sometimes make situations like this even more difficult to navigate.